Over the last 2 weeks, Australia hosted its largest multinational military exercise. Between 30,000 and 35,000 personnel from 13 nations participated in Operation Talisman Sabre, which concluded last Friday, 4th of August. US and Australian officials say part of the exercise is preparing their forces against the threats of aggression from the People's Republic of China. Fina Fonua has more.
Somewhere in the harsh tranquility of the Australian bush, a unit of Tongan soldiers have spotted an enemy force. Their commander calls out a maneuver, and a fierce battle ensues. It's one mock battle in Operation Talisman Sabre, which aims to own the fighting capabilities of these soldiers. According to the Australian Army, they've been training this Tongan unit how to seek and destroy enemy tanks. Tonga, along with Fiji and Papua New Guinea, are the only Pacific countries among the 13 nations participating in the exercise. The United States Armed Forces, the world's most powerful military, is the primary participant along with the Australian Defence Force. According to United States Army Pacific Chief of Staff Brigadier General James Bartholomew's, joint multinational military exercises are vital to the abilities of allied nations to respond militarily.
It takes practice. The only way to use a basic athletic term, you don't just go on the field and play football. You don't just talk about it or look at a PowerPoint and say do it. You have to physically get out there, you have to get dirty, and you have to exercise muscles to do it. We learn through reps and sets we do this. And oh, by the way, that's how our adversary is doing it right now. We're studying how the pacing challenge of the PLA is they are rehearsing as well. And so we have to consider this.
The acronym PLA, as mentioned by Brigadier General Bartholomew's, stands for People's Liberation Army, the military of China, which boasts over 2 million personnel, the largest in the world. For the US and Australia, the Operation Talisman Shield exercise is a key show of force against the PLA, who Bartholomew says has increased its presence in the South China Sea, and which presents an ever-present danger of invading Taiwan. During the 2-week exercise, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin visited Australia, where he met with Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to discuss closer military cooperation. Austin told media China was intimidating its allies and posed a threat to regional security.
Both of our countries are concerned about attempts by the People's Republic of China to depart from these principles. We'll continue to support our allies and partners as they defend themselves from bullying behavior.
That's the sound of anti-ship missiles being fired by Japanese units participating in the exercise. Last year, Japan announced it was spending $320 billion on upgrading its military, which includes purchasing long-range missiles that could reach mainland China. It's infuriated the PRC and North Korea, who accuse Japan of reviving its imperial past. The PRC is also irritated by recent military agreements from Australia and the United States, which includes a recent defense agreement with Papua New Guinea and a U.S. pledge to provide nuclear-powered submarines, along with guided missile building capabilities by 2025. But there have been moves towards establishing peace and stabilizing relations. Last week, Australia Foreign Minister Penny Wong announced the lifting of barley sanctions against China, and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese hinted in Parliament that a meeting could occur between him and Xi Jinping ahead of the G20 meeting next month.
It is in Australia's interest to have a stable bilateral relationship with China, and we made it very clear that we're open to dialogue. I met with Xi Jinping in November last year, and I'm sure that we will potentially meet again on the sidelines of the G20 meeting that will be coming up.
The G20 meeting takes place in New Delhi on September 9th with Anthony Albanese, Xi Jinping, US President Joe Biden, and Russia's President Vladimir Putin expected to attend.